Hi, how are you doing, children? Good. Okay. Do you remember the previous chapter, that is The Sound of Music? Evelyn Gleanies? Yes. So now that was part 1, right? This is part 2. Okay, before we could enter the chapter, do you want to know these people? What instruments they play? See, can you see the image given over here? And this same image is also given in your textbook. Okay, a brief description I'm going to give you, and then we will go into the lesson. Okay, see, the first one is Pandit Hari Prasad playing the flute. Second one is Vilayat Khan with the sitar, and then the Akharai sisters, they are violinists, and then Ustad Zakir Hussain with the tabla. And you remember Wahtaj. Yeah, he is Zakir Hussain. And then comes Ustad Amzad Ali Khan with he's a charod player. And then Kannukudi Vaidyanathan, violinist again. Pandit Ravi Shankar with the sitar. And the last person, a legend who we are going to talk about. And the lesson is all about him. And he is Ustad Bismillah Khan. He's a very famous, a very renowned Shehnai player in India. And he's a legend. Legend means what? A very famous person in a particular field. So, in the field of music, he is a legend. Okay? You know what he did? There's a historical significance. You know what he did on the day of independence, when India got independence, that day, that is when, on 15th August 1947, he played the Shehnai, it seems. Where? At the Red Fort. And when was this played? This was played before the Prime Minister of India, who? Yeah, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru ji, before he could give his speech, Bismillah Khan played the Shehnai in order to signify something auspicious. That day was very special, very auspicious. So it was great for India, right? So something auspicious for the whole country was about to happen. That is, we are declaring the independence. Yes. So India was about to get freedom, isn't it? So on this occasion, who played the Shehnai? It was Ustad Bismillah Khan. And we're going to talk about him only. And he is the one who made this Shehnai. And there's a story behind it. And we're going to see to this Shehnai and how it came into existence. Are you ready, children? Yes. Let's get into the lesson. Pungi is a musical instrument, it seems. It was played in the time of Emperor Aurangzeb. This Aurangzeb, he did not like this Pungi instrument. And this Pungi instrument is a predecessor of Shehnai. Predecessor means before the Shehnai could come, it was Pungi which was played. And this Pungi was played by these snake charmers. Can you see the image I've given there? Yes. And Mughals ruled India, right, before the Britishers came. And this emperor, this is Emperor Aurangzeb, was very famous then. So he did not like it. He found it very unpleasant. That sound of that pungi, was very shrill, very sharp. So he banned. Banned means he stopped. He prohibited. He didn't want that instrument to be played. And this pungi is a generic name. Generic name means for a group or a class, you give a name. So this pungi is for all these reeded instruments. Reeded means the instruments that are played, wind instruments, they say. It's a hollow pipes, and they play. Air will be blown in. Okay, so that's how these flutes. Flutes. Yeah, such instruments are also come under pungi, and all those instruments give a kind of same sound, isn't it? So what happened was Aurangzeb banned this, isn't it? All the reeded noisemakers he banned. He didn't want Pungi to be played in his residence, royal residence, isn't it? Well, and no one thought that one day such noisemakers, such instrument which made unpleasant sound would be played and their sound would be liked by the audience. Nobody thought this one. One day this Pungi became very famous. And there's a story behind it. Okay, that this Pungi became very famous. Let's see how. This instrument, came from a barber of a family of professional musicians. See, a barber, who do you call a barber, children? Barber is the one who cuts the hair, right? So, one boy from this barber family, he belonged to this family and they were professional musicians too. They loved music. And this boy was impressed by this Pungi and he wanted to play the Pungi. Because he comes from a professional musician background, So he wanted to play the Pungi, but he knew that the sound which is produced by that Pungi was very unpleasant and nobody will like it. So what did he try to do? He tried to improve the sound. He tried to improve the tonal quality. Tonal quality means tried to improve the sound. So what did he do? Let's see. This barber, he took a pipe, okay, which was a hollow stem. He took a pipe which had a hollow stem. Hollow means it is empty from inside, okay. So it was longer and broader than the Pungi. Pungi was shorter, but this pipe which he took was longer. And what did he do was he made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. See, I've given the image. You can see it. So if you have seen a flute, something similar to that. So he made around 7 holes in it, it seems. Then what did he do? He blew air into the pipe. And also he closed and opened different holes. He found that the sound which was produced, when he closed and opened the holes, it sounded very nice. Very melodious it was. So what did the barber do? He took this instrument and he went to the court, again royal court, where to King Aurangzeb. Okay. And he played this instrument in the royal court. And what happened? Everyone liked the sound produced by it, it seems. So the royal court thought that this instrument was different from what? From Pungi. So they wanted to give a different name for it. So here the story comes. How this name came. So I'll tell you what the name is. The story behind the name of this instrument is, this instrument was played for the first time in the royal residence of the Shah. Shah is who Shah is the name given to the Mughal kings. And the barbers those days, barbers, they were called as Nai, it seems. Indian term for them was Nai. Okay. So the Mughal emperors were called Shah. And the barbers were called what? Nai. So because it was played the first time in the royal residence of the Shah, it was named after Shah. So it was Shah, and found by whom? By a Nai, that is a barber. So Shah Nai, that's how this name for the instrument came as what? Shehnai. You got it? So one person from the barber family, who is also called Nai, he found this instrument, new instrument, right? It was not like the Pungi. And it was played where? First time it was played in the royal court of the Shah. So it was called as, so it is named after that Shah. So it is Shah Nai. That's how it came into existence. Now we are going to talk about this Shehnai only. And this Shehnai, was very auspicious. It became. It was considered auspicious. Auspicious means it's for promising to bring good fortune. If you play the Shehnai, something good will happen. A good omen, something like that. Okay, something for a good purpose, for the weddings, and then in the temples. So, such places it was played actually. So, it became very auspicious. The sound of the Shehnai, which was prohibited or which was banned by Emperor Aurangzeb, has become very auspicious now. And this was found by whom? This was found by Bismillah Khan. Okay. Now, what happened is, the Shehnai was a part of the Naubat. Naubat means, Naubat is an Urdu word, and it means traditional ensemble. That means a traditional group of 9 musical instruments. In the royal court, such instruments around 9. Now means what? 9. So 9 instruments like that is called the ensemble. Ensemble means instruments considered as a group. Okay, so 9 instruments put together is called the Naubat. So these 9 musical instruments were played at the royal court, and Shehnai also was a part of Naubat. See, now Shehnai was also added into the Naubat. Okay. The Shehnai was played at the king's court, in the temples, the weddings, okay, and it was used on the stage performances also, it seems. And all the credit goes to whom, children? All the credit goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan, who was a legendary Shehnai player, and people wanted to hear him play the Shehnai. It was so beautiful, it seems. It sounded so beautiful. So everyone wanted Bismillah to play the Shehnai. Shehnai became so famous. Now you're going to see the life history of Bismillah Khan. Okay. See, this boy, he was actually a 5-year-old boy, and he was in Damruan. Damruan is now present Bihar estate. Okay. He used to play this Gilli Danda. This Gilli Danda is a cricket kind of a sport. It's something similar to cricket, Gilli Danda. I don't think so. You must have played. Our days we used to play this Gilli Danda. So this was similar to cricket. And what he used to do is, he was just a 5-year-old boy. He was from Bihar. Okay. And what he would do is, he would go to the nearby Bihari temples, it seems. He was a Muslim, but he used to go to the temple. He would sing this song, that is Chaita, in Bhojpuri language. He used to sing this Chaita. And after he finishes reciting the song, he would get a big laddu as a reward. Big laddu, which was around 1.25 kg weight, it seems. So heavy laddu it was. You must have all eaten that. What you have eaten is very small, but this boy used to get a big one. So that was the prize given to Bismillah by the local Maharaja for singing what? For singing the Chaita. And the same person, after 80 years, he got the Bharat Ratna. So famous he became. Now, Bismillah Khan was born on 21st March 1916. And he belongs to a musician family. From where? From Bihar. Okay. His grandfather was Rasul Baks Khan. And then he was a Shehnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur King's Court. And his father was Paigambar Baks. And other paternal ancestors were also great Shehnai players. Paternal ancestors means the father's side. Okay. So all of them were what? They were all, he comes from a musician family. So all of them were Shehnai players. So that's how this boy also has got the interest towards Shehnai. Okay. Next, what he did was, when he was 3 years old, his mother took him to her parents' house, that is maternal uncle's house. Maternal uncle means paternal is father's side, maternal is mother's side. So she takes him there. Where to? To her house. There they lived, and that was in Benares. Benares is today called Varanasi. Okay, so they were there. And when Bismillah saw his maternal uncle play the Shehnai, he was very much attracted towards it. And he also wanted to learn that instrument. So what Bismillah Khan did was, he started going with his uncle Ali Bux to the Vishnu temple in Benares. This uncle of Bismillah Khan, Ali Bux, he used to go to the Vishnu temple in Benares to play the Shehnai. So he used to go along with him because he loved this instrument, right? So he started going with him. Ali Bux was on a duty to play the Shehnai at the Vishnu temple of Benares. So his duty was that he used to play the Shehnai in the temple. And what happened was, when Bismillah Khan saw his uncle Ali Bux play the Shehnai, he would get attracted towards him, that he would sit there for hours. He was so totally captivated. Captivated means he was attracted. On end means for a very long time without stopping. Continuously he used to watch him play. He used to watch his uncle play the Shehnai. So gradually what happened was, Bismillah Khan also started learning to play the Shehnai, and he would practice throughout the day. It seems he never got tired. He was totally captivated by the Shehnai. And what he also used to do is, for many years, Ustad Bismillah Khan remained in Benares. He was with his uncle, I think. So he remained there. And he would visit the temple of Balaji, the temple of Managala Maya, and would remain on the bank of river Ganga. So Varanasi, Ganga is there. So he used to sit on the banks of river Ganga, and where he used to practice the Shehnai all by himself. Solitude means solitude means becoming. He was alone. Sitting alone, and he used to play this Shehnai for hours. So he was training himself. Okay. Next, what he did was, here we come to know that he was a very talented player, right? So he was so impressed, and he was also motivated by the river Ganga, and it provoked him to improve his performance. And what he used to do is, he was sitting on the banks of Ganga, and he invented many ragas, it seems, that were considered impossible to be produced by the Shehnai. See what all he did. Not only making the Shehnai, he also started to invent new ragas with the Shehnai. So Ustad Bismillah Khan worked very hard, and he invented what? Different sounds with the Shehnai. Okay, let's see what happened next. Next was his bright future. See, he was practicing right now his future. Let's see how he came up in his life. We're going to see his future. Yeah. And when Bismillah Khan was around 14 years of age, this was the start for him, for his life to become bright, for his future to become bright. He was 14 years, and what he did was, he accompanied his maternal uncle. He was with Ali Bux only, isn't it? So he went with Ali Bux to Allahabad Music Conference. There what he did was, Ustad Fiaz Khan had come. He is another renowned classical vocalist, And he was impressed by the performance. And what he said was, if he would work hard like that, he would make a name in the field of music. He was actually patted by whom? By Ustad Fiaz Khan. He gave a recital. Recital means a performance. Who gave a performance there in the Allahabad Music Conference? Yeah, Bismillah Khan. So when Bismillah Khan gave a performance, this Ustad Fiaz was another classical vocalist, and he was a famous person. What he did was he patted him and he said, "Work hard and you shall make it," he said. Okay. And next is what he did was the All India radio. See, nowadays there's no radio, so you do not know much about radio. But you know, the olden days, radio was very famous, like how TV is nowadays. Everything came out on the radio only. So this All India Radio, it was called All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938. There was a performance being given by Ustad Bismillah Khan. He started performing there. So that is where they become famous. Now, how when you do a TV show, you become famous, right? So those days it was the radio performance. So this man also, Bismillah Khan also, he started performing from there. Often his Shehnai performance would be on air. Okay, so very often air means now here it is told about the radio. Radio is through air only, no? It goes and reaches. So this started to he started becoming famous. He was the first Indian to greet the entire nation through his Shehnai, and he played the Shehnai from the Red Fort on this memorable occasion. See, so what did he do? And he played what is the, I told you, no, the very beginning slide I gave you, I told you that he played this in what is that, Shehnai on the day of independence, the very first independence celebration, independence of India. Okay, during that celebration, before Prime Minister of India, who Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, could give his speech, this Shehnai was played by Bismillah. See, this is what is the future actually. Okay, what he did. Yeah. Next, let's see. Not only this, he started his career from when? From very small, but 14 years he started, his bright future started coming. He started to come up in his life. Now let's see the next. What are the other performances he did, and what are the other things he became famous in? Bismillah Khan gave many performances in India and abroad also, it seems. Some of them are very memorable, like one at Afghanistan. You know, this King Zahir Shah really liked Bismillah's performance, and he gifted him many things. Okay, he is the king of Afghanistan. He gifted him like Persian carpets and things like that. And also, you know, there were many other people who were attracted to Shehnai's music. One is Gunj Uti Shehnai was the name of a Hindi movie. And you know, it was made by whom, you know? By Vijay Bhatt. He is the director. And this movie was after this Shehnai, the instrument. And he has named the movie itself as Gunj Uti Shehnai. Okay, and also what else is, there are other, what is that? There's a song also in this movie, it seems, that is Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya. So it was composed by whom? By Ustad Bismillah Khan. He became, and this became a chart buster. Chart buster means a record break. Okay, so this is how his what is that, career, he became career started. He became very famous also. Although this song was a chartbuster, you know, Bismillah Khan got a lot of success in this film, but he composed music for only 2 films, it seems. And the names were, one is Gunjuti Shanai, and then a Kannada movie, that is Sanadi Appana, was the other movie that he made. And but he did not like much of this film world. He says that I just can't come to terms with the artificiality and glamour of the film world. So he emphasizes on that. Emphasizes means he lays stress on it. He says no, I don't like the artificial world of films and the glamour. The film world he did not like. So that's why he did not compose more of music for any more movies. Okay. Next comes his awards and recognition. Let's see what all awards he has got. He got a lot of awards and he was recognized at many places. Bismillah Khan got a lot of recognition and was honored with what? With awards. He performed all over the world, not only in India. He also was invited to different places, and he performed all over the world. Where has he gone is, he performed in United States of America at the Lincoln Center Hall, it seems. He performed in Montreal, Australia, in the World Exposition, and also in Cannes Art Festival, and then in Japan at the Osaka Trade Fair. See, not only here, in different places of the world too. And there's something very famous in Tehran, that is in Iran. This place, there's an auditorium being built, it seems. And this auditorium is kept after his name. That is Tahar Mozik Ustad Bismillah Khan. The name of the auditorium is is been called or named after him. Okay. And then he has also got different awards like the national awards. You know what all? That is Padma Shri, the Padma Bhushan, and the Padma Vibhushan were conferred on him. Okay. So all these three very important awards were given to Ustad Bismillah Khan. And what else? So many. He has, when Ustad Bismillah received India's highest civilian award, that is the Bharat Ratna, in the year 2001, his eyes were shining, He was very happy because his hard work was recognized. And he gave a very important message to the country. He said that all Indians should teach music to their children, it seems. And music is the richest tradition of India. Even Western countries, people from the Western countries are also what? They also want to learn Indian music, he said, isn't it? Yes. And although, Bismillah Khan had traveled all over the world, he was given so much respect and recognition. But, he remained rooted in Benares. He loved India. He loved Benares, where he learned music, isn't it? And then where he was born and brought up. These are the wonderful towns he's talking about. One is in Bihar and the other one he's talking about Benares. Okay? Damroan and Benares he's talking about. So wherever he goes, all over the world he traveled, but he never would forget the land of India. So he was very much attached to his birthplace, One day, a student, he was interviewing and he is asking Ustad Bismillah Khan. He wanted that Ustad Bismillah Khan should shut up a Shanai school in USA. Actually, that student wanted Bismillah to start up a school in the school of Shanai. Okay, a Shanai school where? In the United States. So he promised that he would recreate the temple of Benares in America for Ustad, as he would miss it. because that student loved Ustad very much. So he says that I will bring that Banaras, what to tell you, that environment here, that atmosphere here to America. I will recreate it. I will make it like the temple of Banaras. But now Ustad Khan was attached to river Ganga also. So he asked a student that would he transport the river Ganga also to America? That student is telling, I'll bring the whole temple of Banaras. I'll recreate it. I'll make it like that temple and give you. You please stay here with us. But he says, I'm attached to Ganga too. Can you transport Ganga river to America? So he wanted to say that he could not leave whom? He could not leave India. He was very much attached to the temples of Banaras and also to the holy river Ganga, though he was a Muslim. That's where he stands. That longing for, that yearning means longing for India and his motherland. Okay, so Ustad Khan said that whenever he visited any foreign country, he wanted to see India. Isn't it? Yeah. So he remembers the song, the Chaita, and he was given what? He was rewarded with a laddu. He still remembers all that. Okay. So he was a perfect example of the rich cultural heritage of India. His work was beyond the religion barriers. So though he was a Muslim, he still remembers and he still worked for the temples, and he never brought in religion. So although he was a strict Muslim, he followed the Muslim laws. Every morning he would play the Shehnai at the Kashi Vishwanath temple, which was a Hindu temple. He was a strict Muslim, but still, because for the love, he had that love for the instrument, right? So he played in the Vishwanath temple every morning. This shows that he did not have the barriers of religion in his mind. He was a true Indian. Okay? So he considered music to be India's richest cultural heritage. Isn't it? Yeah. So then finally, Ustad Bismillah Khan, he was ill. He became ill for a long time. He was ill for a long time and he died on 21st August 2006 at the age of 90. And the entire country mourned the death of the legendary musician. There was a holiday for one day and he was given a state funeral. See, this is, a national mourning was given. And that's really great. Okay. So there are word meanings given over here. He is a great man. The part 1 talks about Evelyn Glennie and part 2 is about Ustad Bismillah Khan, who found the Shehnai. Now comes the word meanings. Band, shrill, unpleasant, generic name. Okay. Then comes reeded, revived, tonal quality, hollow, auspicious, indispensable, ensembles, parental ancestors, on end, haunt, solitude, recital, taken in by, souvenirs, chartbuster, venture, emphasis, thick and fast, conferred, coveted, replicating, yearning and devote. See, I've just read the hard words for you just for the sake of pronunciation. So I want you to repeat it. Okay. And then one more thing I want you to do is please read at least a page and record it. Okay. A voice message can be sent to me if you have the phone number. Okay, and it's like an assignment. Reading is very important, right? Reading habit should be developed in you. So if you don't read the lesson, see, I've just given you points as to what the lesson is. I've given you an explanation of the lesson, but I haven't read it. So I want all of you to read, and the hard words are read for you. So I want you all to read the lesson carefully, and better see that you record the voice, and if you can, you send it to me. Thank you very much, children. I hope you all understood. Okay? Yes.